So I finally got around to filming one of our favorite dishes by my grandma. We just call it the special pork belly dish with garlic. So it's really simple. It just takes a little bit of time. The ingredients are simple, mainly soy sauces, sugar, and garlic. And what we do is that we start out by preparing the pork belly. As you can see, my grandma is actually scraping the skin to remove any of the little hairs that we have. She's really particular about cleaning her meats. So once you're finished with all the scraping and the trimming, what you're going to do is you're going to cut the pork belly into like one nice big fat strip so that's easier to cook. So during this time, hopefully you'll have a large vat of water that's boiling. What we're doing is that we're now going to boil the meat for about 15 minutes so that we can clear out any of the impurities in the meat. It just makes it a lot easier when we're cooking later on. So as you can see a little bit of the little scuzzy layer on top. Yeah, we don't want that. So continue by preparing some of the garlic. As you can see, we use a lot of garlic in our cooking, so she is an expert at smashing it. It makes it a lot easier to remove the skins and the shells, since we're especially mincing a whole bunch of garlic for this dish. And we can just set that aside for now. Okay, so our 15 minutes is up. We're going to drain the water from the pork. We're going to rinse it with cold water. Also at the same time, we're going to start heating up some oil on high. And what we're going to do now is kind of flavor the skin of the meat. So taking your soy sauces of choice, we use these two just out of personal preference. We kind of rub it onto the skin, which when we fry it gives it a really nice caramelized color. Here, the dark one is a mushroom soy sauce, which is much thicker. Okay, so when we fry the pork, we usually like to have something separating it from the bottom of the pan so it prevents from sticking. We use a fork, as you can see. So if you have something better, go ahead, but we don't. So we just fry it on this, and then we try and rotate it every once in a while to prevent any sticking. And don't forget a lid. We don't want any hot oil splattering onto anyone. Ooh, look at that. So dark and crispy looking. That's what we want. So rinse it in cold water, and then we're going to scrape the skin again. Yes, I know, we're scraping off the crispiness, but the reason for this is because we want to make it more like a sponge to soak up the flavors later in the next step. So we're heating up some oil again, this time on medium heat. We're going to fry the garlic, all that yummy garlic. It's going to smell very good. And then next, we're actually going to add in some bean curd. You can also use some spicy bean curd if you want some spice. But basically, you're going to put in a large spoonful, but be careful not to put in too much because it can be quite strong. You might also want to turn the heat down to low, just in case if you're like me, I tend to take a long time and fumble with the sauces and the mixing, and I don't want to burn any of the garlic. So maybe turn it down as you add in the light soy sauce. Also, we add in sweet soy sauce and earlier the dark mushroom soy sauce, just because it's our own preference. We really like these kinds of soy sauces. And apparently my grandma says it gives it a good color. So as you can see, we're adding water in. The meat's going to be simmering in this mixture. We also turn the heat back on high so we can add in some sugar. We're adding rock sugar, but I think any sugar should be fine. And then we add the meat back in so it can simmer in this mixture for about 40 minutes with the cover on low heat. Whew, okay, so I know that's a bit of a tedious process, but it's actually pretty easy if you just have the time. So when it's done, you let it cool down so that you can actually handle the meat. And then you slice it up. We just slice it up and then we present it on a dish. And then we pour the mixture of the gravy on top. It's so good. Pork belly is not the healthiest, but if you're going to be bad, this is really good. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to leave a comment. We actually translate all the positive comments to her, and it actually makes her really happy. So she acts annoyed when I follow her around the kitchen, but I think she enjoys it in the end. Thank you!